Right, hello everyone. Welcome to today's live stream that we have got coming to you from the final round of the Diamond Firetail Foursomes. So, for those of you who don't know, this is our 4-player team tournament we have going on at the moment. We have a number of teams who have battled their way through group stages and a number of knockout rounds as well. And only 2 teams are left standing. We have Team Dalmatian Pelicans and we have Team Mother Tuckers. So, very exciting. Currently, the matchup is 6-5 in favour of the Mother Tuckers, and it's a best of 16 series. So, first team to reach those glorious 9 wins that thereafter are going to be crowned champions. So, yeah, at 6-5, it is currently very, very close. So, the 2 players we've got here today, we have got EpicSaxGuy, who is from Team Dalmatian Pelicans, and we have got Lauris, who is from the Mother Tucker. So, yeah, 2 very skilled players. Obviously, Lauris recently winning Premier League Division 1, and EpicSaxGuy winning the Blue Tip Bash. So, lots of Wingspan skill on display, I'm sure. And joining me on the commentary for this game, I've got the one and only Gracklin Oakbrant. So, how are you doing today?
I'm doing just fine. How are you, Flan?
Excellent. I'm doing very well. I'm very excited for this one. As I said, I think this should be a real good match. Obviously, these are the two players from Pot A who went into these teams. So, yeah, obviously, both teams will be hoping for a good result in this match. It's going to go either to 7-5 or to 6-6 in this match. So, yeah, could really be the one that kind of swings the tide one way or the other. But I think we're probably ready to get this one started. So we've got EpicSaxGuy, who is going to be going first. So if you could be so kind as to send the invite out, and we'll get started. So yeah, best of luck to both the players.
Yeah, it's going to be an exciting one. I know EpicSaxGuy has been doing quite well in the solo queue, as might be expected.
Absolutely,
but
yes,
yeah. See how he handles team play.
Yes.
This is not to cast any shade on Lauris, of course.
Not at all.
The shades he's already wearing.
Yes, we did have that in the comments. This is the battle of the sunglasses. So, which cool player is going to come out on top? But here we go. We have got the starting hands for EpicSaxGuy at least, and it's a pretty nice one at least. I think there. The Robin is going to be the straightforward keep. I guess the question is going to be: are you going to rely on that flycatcher, or do you look to the Blue Jay as your food source here?
Right. Do you think you go for a forest engine off that start, or do you think you maybe stick that in the grassland, look for some other grassland birds, build that out?
It's always the question, isn't it, when you get the Robin, because obviously it can go in either habitat, and it is very tempting, I think, to put it in that forest, particularly with something like a Blue Jay, where you can get that additional point generation alongside it. But yeah, I think I kind of look at these end of round goals. Obviously, the first 3. Very, very focused around eggs. So yeah, I think, especially with the 4 egg spaces in the bowl nest on that Robin, you stick that in the grasslands. That's going to put you in a real strong position for end of round goals 2 and 3 at least. So yeah, I think that's probably what I would look to go for, Robin in the grasslands. And then yeah, obviously no great wetland option at the moment, but there is the heron in the tray that could be an option.
Yeah. I think that probably works pretty well, especially with the first end of round goal, and also the Blue Jays' ability to get one specific resource type. The heron could help convert that into more usable fodder. Absolutely,
that is definitely an option. But equally, if you go for this flycatcher again, that is one of these birds generating a single kind of food, worms in that case, which again you could then turn into other food with the heron. So I think there's definitely a couple of good options. I'm not surprised at all to see EpicSaxGuy kind of really take their time and kind of think carefully about this, because this can really have a huge impact on kind of how the rest of the game is going to play out. So yeah, tricky decisions here, definitely, I think.
Yeah, I guess there is an opportunity to keep 3 birds here if you keep the flycatcher, just because it can generate. There's a worm in the tray, can generate enough to play the Robin and the heron, so you're not really slowing yourself down, although you're feeding your opponent quite a bit. So maybe that's undesirable.
Yeah, I can definitely see a situation where you say you keep 3 birds, like you say, you keep the cherry and the worm, you grab a worm, play the flycatcher, lay eggs, play the Robin, And then when you lay eggs, you can tuck that extra bird. I think it's unlikely that your opponent takes that green heron. It's not impossible, but it is unlikely. And then obviously you can grab that.
I see.
You can play it straight away with the worm you're getting from that flycatcher. And then you've got that wetland bird down, you can start drawing. So I think that definitely works as an option. But like you say, you do have to be cautious, I think, giving too much food away. Definitely, I think that flycatcher, you can't rely on that as your food source for the whole game. So at some point, you would have to think about looking, trying to find a cheap forest bird, maybe a nuthatch or a chickadee, something like that, get that down and kind of try and set something up there. But I think it can be, a real good start here. And obviously, yeah, it is going to help, again, with a couple of end-of-round goals, and it's 8 points itself. So definitely, helps in a few areas there as well.
Yeah. Oh, interesting. Okay, going for the forest route with the blue jay at least, but definitely, I think pivoting into that flycatcher eventually seems like the plan. Yeah,
indeed. I mean, with no cherry in the bird feeder, might be a little bit tricky to get that done, but we'll see. But here we go. That is a lot nicer.
Well,
no surprises at all. Pick those 3 birds. No real decisions. Although I guess, do you go really greedy here and keep that Imperial Eagle? Because that is so tempting to go for that eagle as well.
Is. Yeah. Well, not a great bonus card spread, but
no, probably the 2 bonus cards you'd least like to see. But at least either of those that you keep, you have got both the house finch and the ruddy duck that are going to count. So that's a couple to kind of get you started. But yeah. That's I think that's a no-brainer. And then obviously you've got the ruddy duck and the house finch. You can play this straight away. Obviously the house rules prevent the raven until round 2 at least. But I think the way that bird feed is set up, you can either even keep a rodent yourself, but there's one there if you need to grab it. So yeah, I think that feels pretty straightforward for Lauris, and then it's just about getting a bunch of cards and waiting until you can play that raven in round 2.
Yeah, I think keeping a cherry probably. Well, interesting. Yeah,
I would be tempted to as well. I think there's 2 options. You either play the ruddy duck and draw and just sort of see what you get. And then, maybe you get a cheap forest bird, you can play that. That's going to help get a bit of food. Or I think you can just kind of go all in, ruddy duck, house finch, spend a few turns. Obviously, you can draw cards first and then start laying some eggs and cycling. And see what you get. But then knowing, okay, I might have a few turns later in the round to get food. And I mean, if we do see EpicSaxGuy go for this flycatcher maybe, and if they can get it down this round, obviously that's going to help as well feed this raven going into round 2. So there's always that kind of option of being patient, seeing if your opponent is going to give you a bit of free food, and then you can kind of go from there.
Yeah, actually, I guess I was going to say I'm coming around to Lauris's point of view and not keeping the cherry, but now Lauris seems to be coming around to mine. But I guess the raven, you want to have enough food at the end of the round to put the raven as quickly as possible, and so maybe the house finch doesn't even go down this round.
Yes.
Maybe it's just the duck. Draw a bunch of cards, win that end of round goal, and get enough food to play the raven and just sort of come out of the gates round 2.
I think so. I think you could probably be in a position here where you draw enough times in this first round that you almost don't need to draw cards again. Maybe not for at least another round or 2. You just get a bunch of cards. If they're not good, that's fine. You just tuck through the house finch, see what you get, and even if there are some good cards in the tray, you can obviously grab those as well. So that is definitely an option, but it would be quite strange, I think, to see a board at the end of round 1 with just a ruddy duck and a bunch of eggs on it. I don't think I've ever really seen that before, but It could work. But here we go, last minute decision, grabbing the Imperial Eagle. Yeah, this is bold. I like this. I'm interested to see where this goes. So that could.
Chad is definitely supportive of the eagle.
I think so. Yeah. I think I have to go along with that. But it is, obviously going to be a little bit of a struggle, I think, in terms of the food. But there we go. EpicSaxGuy, no messing about. They went straight for that heron. I don't think they wanted the risk of it being taken. So I can definitely understand that. I can understand them going for that. Ruddy duck. No surprises, I think, for Lauris. Like you were saying, you kind of get that down. You are in a real strong position for this end of round goal. So you probably lay eggs on it maybe a couple of times and see where you go. But then otherwise it is just all about the card draw. And you're just looking for maybe some kind of cheap food generator, but otherwise any birds will do. They're just going to get tucked, I think, under the house finch as the game goes on.
Right.
Yeah, we'll definitely be interested to see with EpicSaxGuy where this robin goes. I mean, like I was saying, I think I do imagine it is going to go in this grasslands. That is certainly where I would kind of naturally lean towards putting it, but it could still go alongside this blue jay. It could definitely go alongside this blue jay, but I think probably my guess is it's going to be maybe heron down first, and then they use that to turn this extra seed from the blue jay into the food to play the robin. I think that could work as quite a nice little combo.
Yeah, that makes sense. Or even play the flycatcher and just sort of get that down first.
I think so. I think that definitely works. But
yeah,
there we go. Eastern Screech
Which would work out. Oh, that's great. That's great.
Good. Oh, and Condor as well.
That's even better.
There we go. I think
that's extremely gamble kicked off.
I think that might. You probably don't even need the Screech Owl. I was going to say you just grab the rodent that's there, play the Screech Owl, and then you chuck away some extra cards and turn those into food. But with the Condor, you can just play that now. Yeah. And that's a 2-food forest already. So you've just saved yourself time that you would have had to spend gaining food otherwise anyway. So yeah, that's nice. That's a real good pickup there, I think, for Lauris.
Do you think maybe well, I guess probably Lauris is safe to play the Condor right now and hope that rat will still be there. But definitely I'd be a little nervous at this point that the mouse is going to scurry into its hole.
I definitely would. I definitely would as well. But there we go. It's a good pick on the bonus card. Although difficult decision, I guess, if you've got the House Finch for bird counter. But I think Dart Specialist, you're pretty safe in being able to max that out when you have got the Raven. You're not going to be short of food. Yeah. So definitely I understand that. But yeah, I did wonder if maybe Lauris was going to sort of blink there and grab the rodent just with the risk of it being taken. But we'll see if EpicSaxGuy does indeed go for food. I almost wonder if they are still trying to get the cherry for this flycatcher, but maybe it is just going to be a case of play the heron, draw some cards, and use that as a way of turning these seeds into the food that you want. And I think that works as well. I think that is definitely a good option. And again, like what Lauris is trying to do, draw some cards, you play your tucking bird, and then you can just start cycling through those. I think that's going to really, that's the strength for both players is being able to do that sort of tucking action and just cycle through the deck.
Yeah, I guess. Do you think EpicSaxGuy has any suspicion? I mean, I think sort of Lauris hasn't given anything away about the presence of that Raven, but obviously,
it's always an interesting question. In at what point does the other player work out that there's a Raven? I think you're right at the moment. I don't think anything's been given away. Normally when you see a rodent being kept and sort of very deliberately not being spent on something, that does make you feel nervous. But I think equally, when I see someone do what Lauris did, which is keep 1 food and 4 birds and immediately play something that's got to draw some cards, I do start to think, well, the food's got to come from somewhere. And if you had 4 birds that you've kept, they must all be really good birds. And that generally scares me when I do see that kind of, early game, that sort of keep from the hand. But I don't think anything's been given away so far, not enough to make EpicSaxGuy want to sort of reset the feeder and deny that rodent. But I think it will slowly become more and more obvious as this round goes on. And, Lauris isn't building up this forest and he is sort of very tactically collecting food for a potential Raven. I think that is eventually it's going to give the game away.
Right. Yeah, I expect maybe even this turn.
Yeah.
If we see a food gain. What do you think? What do you make of that Robin play? Yeah, that wasn't what I expected to see.
No, I think EpicSaxGuy was definitely thinking long and hard about that, and I think they were maybe looking at the heron. I mean, they can still play the heron, obviously. They do have the fish for that as well. So I'm wondering if what they were thinking is, I want to lay eggs before I go for cards. But then it is going to be a question of whether they're going to tuck this flycatcher. So yeah, I'm curious as to what the plan is. I mean, definitely the heron has to go down at some point for the end of round as well. But this flycatcher, they've not really got any of the food, anywhere near being able to play that. So I think that is gonna be a bit of a struggle.
No, that makes sense. That's a good cue.
I think so.
Pretty good pickups for Lauris there. The
Definitely
Canada Goose as well as the Whooping Crane, satisfying that bonus card and yeah, packing a pretty big punch itself.
Absolutely, yeah. I think anytime you get Canada Goose when you've also got Raven, that is obviously such a dangerous combination. So I think that's just going to afford Lauris, some extra turns laying eggs at some point, and obviously they're not going to be short of the food to feed that Canada Goose. But here we go. I think Lauris has had enough messing about. I want to grab the rodent if it's there. I don't want to be taking this risk of not getting it. So I think he's just obviously jumped on that, and then you just got to think about obviously the last couple of turns. Make sure you got the eggs down for the end of round, and then that might be a little interesting sort of back and forth here, because obviously EpicSaxGuy, they could potentially lay eggs again on their final turn and look to win the end of round.
Right. Yeah. Do you think Lauris will go for the double? I mean, certainly the single egg lay now, but yeah, would it make sense to go for a double?
It's tricky. I mean, you definitely go for the one now, and then obviously Lauris going second can have that sort of flexibility. I think. I think now that
it definitely.
I think I'd be very tempted.
Swing,
exactly. It's a huge swing, and
it's an 8-point turn.
Absolutely. You're only getting that Raven down one turn sooner, and I think for the huge point swing that gets you, I would definitely be going for that. I think especially because the other two food for the Raven, they don't matter. You've already got your rodent. Even if this bird feeder was going to change, which it isn't, I don't think I'd worry too much about that. So here we go into round 2, and I wonder that pink power if Lauris might be tempted to kind of grab that, because we talked about at what point does EpicSaxGuy start to clue on that there's a Raven. I think at this point, when Lauris has only got a Ruddy Duck and a California Condor, I think that's the point where you start to be suspicious. So no surprises that they do indeed grab that, and another good pull in the Great Horned Owl. So they'll be very happy to see that for sure. Not sure what EpicSaxGuy is going to kind of plan here. I think maybe this Turtle Dove, they did grab that. So that is potentially going to be one to play, obviously, with these two seeds. But where do you put it? Which habitat? It looks like wetlands.
Yeah, I guess more cards are definitely in order right now for EpicSaxGuy, and he has pretty good access to food and to eggs. So pretty nice pickup with Ethologist as well.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think that it's a pretty safe bonus card to be picking up. Even sort of really late in the game, you're almost certain to have got 4 or even 6 points from that. So I think you definitely take that at this point in the game.
Yeah, I wonder what. So the egret is sort of a pretty powerful card if you're gonna have enough food. I wonder if it's gonna grab the egret to sort of play it and also maybe to deny it. Well, okay. Yeah. I guess right now you really need to just get an engine set up desperately. You can't really afford to gamble on a good denial.
Yeah,
or rather, you must gamble.
Right. It's tricky. I think. Ooh. Well, I was gonna talk about that, but we have Canada Goose going, so Lauris clearly is not convinced. I can maybe understand that, because they have got a lot of these high food cost birds, so it can almost be a bit of a trap sometimes, where you have this goose and you're sort of getting rid of one seed every turn. You're really only generating one food, and it can be quite difficult to go for that. So I think this is definitely the point where EpicSaxGuy is going to know there's a Raven coming. So I wonder, with them going for cards here, I would definitely be tempted to get rid of that egret. I think that's just such a dangerous bird to be leaving when your opponent, or you're pretty sure that they have got a Raven, and even if he's not going to play that himself, you just tuck that with the Robin. You're still generating some kind of value from it. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, I think that's the right play.
I think so.
Yeah. A bit of a shame can't make use of the Heron power there, but
it is. But they got a good pickup. I think that hawk, for the forest with just one rodent. Obviously, there is a rodent in the feeder, so I think you can look to grab that, and obviously you've got your food generation a little bit more improved, and then I think it is just going to be about laying some eggs with that Robin, just tucking cards, and just looking for something else to kind of flesh this grasslands out, because it's a real good start with the Robin, but it can be so easy for that to sort of slip away if you just don't find any more good birds to add to that.
For sure. Yeah, no, definitely something to fill out those grasslands. Seems pretty critical for EpicSaxGuy at this juncture.
Absolutely. And we have Raven down. I think Lauris definitely was looking forward to being able to get that, and no surprises as well. Get the cherry, get this house finch down, and I think it's pretty straightforward from there. If you are Lauris, you know, you get the house finch, you just start laying eggs, and then it's about playing these big point birds. So they've already got, I think, was it the bald eagle and the whooping crane and that great horned owl. I mean, those are pretty straightforward plays on their own, and then it's just about what else you can try and find from the deck as well.
Yeah. Do you think there's any case for dropping down the Grebe as well? A lot of the cards, I think, might sort of be playable rather than tuckable. And there is that backyard birder, which not really worth going out of your way to satisfy, but the Grebe could, or maybe tucking for the yellowthroat. Or that Tohi is also pretty tempting.
Yeah.
To get a little bit of extra food generation.
Yeah, I think the yellowthroat I could be tempted by, because obviously it has got a lot of bowl nest space. So if that does come into play for that third end of round goal, that is an option. But yeah, I mean, I just wonder how many times is EpicSaxGuy, or is Lauris, sorry, gonna be drawing cards. You know, they've already got 4 birds down. They've got, what was that, 7 in their hand. So you are going to need some, clearly, to feed that Eastern Imperial Eagle. But I think even if, you know, they just add the bald eagle and maybe the whooping crane as well, I think that's enough. That's probably enough where, you know, even just one turn drawing cards is kind of going to set you up pretty nicely there. So I think for now, at least, I'm not going to rush to grab that. I think definitely, you know, they've got enough in their hand to be thinking about tucking and kind of going from there. But I did wonder there if EpicSaxGuy was going to go for the Tohi. I mean, you mentioned that for Lauris. I think this is definitely a good bird for EpicSaxGuy to go for.
Definitely.
Yeah, I think, you know, as soon as you get that down, you've got your food and your eggs and your tucks as well at the same time. But there we go, yellowthroat indeed. Lauris has been tempted to go for that. So I do wonder if the end of round is maybe what he's thinking about. But equally, like you say, just increasing that card draw a bit, I think it does have its advantages.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I think the Kestrel works pretty well as well for EpicSaxGuy here. Just trying to fill out, sort of extend that grasslands. It's a pretty decently scoring bird.
Yeah, I mean, it is definitely an unusual pick. I mean, you don't often see it sort of grabbed from the tray in that manner, unless someone's got sort of rodentologist or falconer. But I think it can work. Right. I think it's one of those where, you know, you want to play birds, you want to get them down. And even if it's not a great power, if you can activate that a number of times, we know with this grasslands, EpicSaxGuy is going to be laying eggs a lot. So, you know, you give yourself plenty of chances. And I think, you know, even if you just get a couple of cash food from that, I think that can work. But not content with just a raven and a house finch, Lauris is going to go and top deck a wood duck. So that would definitely have been nice for EpicSaxGuy to get hold of. But yeah, not to be this time.
Definitely. Yeah, so I guess just sort of securing the end of round goal there with a Raven skip.
I think so. I think so.
Momentum there.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, you think about, obviously, EpicSaxGuy could easily lay eggs and they get up to 7, but yeah, I think that's just kind of a little bit of foresight, a little bit of planning ahead from Lauris, which you like to see, and kind of, yeah, making sure they can secure the end of round. But there we go, Puffin from the deck. Very, very nice. At the very least, just stopping your opponent getting that. So might be a tricky one to get all the food for that if you are EpicSaxGuy, but they will try, I suppose, nonetheless. But here we go, round 3 now, and they've got the food for this woodpecker. Would you go for that woodpecker, or would you be tempted to lay eggs here and grab the sapsucker and just increase that food production a little bit in the forest?
Interesting. I think I'd probably go for the woodpecker here. I think you need to gamble on getting some really, really excellent bonus cards if you have any shot of competing against that. And
right.
You're getting 3 food already with each activation plus the Tohi. I think your food generation is already pretty well set. So I think you have to take you have to gamble as much as possible now if you're EpicSaxGuy.
Yeah, I'm inclined to agree. I think, you know, it is always a struggle when you are up against a raven and a house finch as well like this. And obviously we know plenty more big point birds are going to go down as well. So gambles are going to have to be taken. And there we go. Maybe with this white stork, that is potentially going to help bring EpicSaxGuy a little bit back into this, but yeah, I was about to say I'd be grabbing the fish here. I wouldn't be looking at a seed. So yeah, I think you lay eggs, you get the extra food for that, and you get that down, and that feels pretty nice. So maybe, just maybe, if there was going to be a bird to kind of drag the game back into EpicSaxGuy's favour, that could help. But obviously, with the robin, plenty of tucking opportunities as well.
Right. Yeah, probably even better than a Franklin Skull or Killdeer here, because its point value is high enough that you can sort of justify playing it this late in the game. But it
absolutely
keeps that robin alive without the need for any more card draw.
Yeah, I mean, it is always kind of a topic of debate, I think, whether when you do have something like a gull or a killdeer in that round 3, and you think to yourself, is it too late? Can I still justify it because they aren't worth that many points? But I mean, absolutely, I would almost play White Stork, 4th round, even if I wasn't going to activate it, just for the points. It's already a huge point bomb in its own right. So definitely worth going for.
Yeah. Nice.
Right. Yeah. They had enough of the Kestrel. That little experiment is over. So I can't blame that too much. I think, again, like I was saying when we talk about it, is one of those where if you're going to play it, you want to play it early. You want to get as many times activating it. And I think just with the priority shifting here, clearly you want to get this White Stork down instead. So yeah, I can completely understand that. But it does look like Lauris with the Yellow Throat, they are going to give some more cards, and another good pick up there in the Heron and also the Goldfinch. So yes, this is looking very, very nice, I think, for Lauris. That is almost certainly going to be the last time they need to draw cards, and I'd almost be tempted to play that Blackbird now, because they have got so many cards. That might be an option, but I suppose they do just need to think carefully about, okay, how many of these am I going to play? How many are going to get tucked under the Imperial Eagle, and then kind of work backwards from there and think, right, do I have enough spare? The game is kind of coming to an end. Maybe there might be enough turns to justify that. But there we go. White Stork has gone down for EpicSaxGuy. I'm sure that felt very nice. And interesting counter here straight away. I don't mind that.
Right.
I was not really thinking about that as an option, but I
didn't expect it either.
Yeah, that is going to sting, I think, for EpicSaxGuy right as they're kind of get the crown jewel of this Grasslands down. Immediately countered by a pink card. That's going to be a real tough one to take.
Do you think Lauris should go for the Goldfinch as well to sort of add even more insult here?
Oh man, can you imagine? That would definitely hurt. I would. Yeah, I think it can work. I think it's already 6 points. It obviously helps for the bonus cards. And I think you're only going to look to get maybe 2 or 3 tucks from it, and then it's worth playing over something like the Great Hall Dow. So definitely could be worth going for. And like you say, it is just adding insult to injury. You're kind of saying to your opponent, you lay eggs, I'm going to get an egg, and I'm going to get a tuck card. So be my guest. Be my guest. It's still going to help me out.
Yeah. What do you think about the quail? Yeah. Because it's playable.
I think so.
Yeah. I mean, you got enough turns left of laying eggs that it's probably going to be worth the cost.
I think so. I think definitely
worth your turn.
Yeah. And I think I'm kind of wondering at this point for EpicSaxGuy. Obviously, they have got the Eulogist bonus card, and so normally we kind of think of that as very easy, get your 9 birds down, lay eggs on them. But they are kind of getting obviously to the end of this round 3, only 6 birds down, so that might be a bit of a struggle. Obviously, the more of these kind of cheat birds, obviously the seed as well from the Tauhi being able to play that is definitely going to help as well, I think, for EpicSaxGuy. But here we go, straight away Imperial Eagle is going down as well, so that is definitely earlier than I might have expected it, but I can understand. I think Lauris is really trying to just build the Grasslands up a bit more, so they are at least getting those extra eggs when they do lay eggs, because the points total, I think they did give a little bit of a sneak peek early this round, and it was on the low side. Obviously that first round was slow because of the Raven and kind of being patient and spending extra turns drawing cards. So I think they should have enough turns here to kind of bring that back up, and obviously with these huge point bombs they've got in their hand to be able to play those as well will be very nice. But yeah, I think this is really where the points are going to be, is going into this final round.
Yeah. What do you make of that keep versus cash for that seed? It seems like maybe there's some sort of hope that they'll get enough by the end to force down that Puffin.
It's It's a tricky one. That is always such a difficult decision, especially at this point where you don't know for sure if you're going to need it, and you don't know for sure that, okay, if I don't cash it, am I going to actually get any use out of it? I think there are some situations where you think, I'll keep it just to be on the safe side, and then I can always discard it for eggs later. That's kind of what goes through my mind. But yeah, I think it maybe was a bit more of a kind of, we'll wait and see. Maybe I have to play this puffin for 6 seeds in the final round. If it comes to that, it's an option. So yeah, I don't blame EpicSaxGuy for that. I think food is so scarce at the moment that I would definitely be looking to keep rather than cash there.
That makes sense. It's a good point about that flexibility of if you can get a resource that you you can exchange later, optionally it's better to have more options.
Absolutely. And another pretty good pickup there on the bonus card. So Ecologist again, 4 points already. And I think, if they can get some nice pickups with the White Stork and obviously the tucking with the Robin, I think there is every chance that they can get a bird in the forest and in the wetlands. That's going to get you 6 for your Ecologist and obviously help towards maxing out the Eologist as well. So it definitely feels like the bonus cards for EpicSaxGuy, that is going to be the key if they can really hit these, because Lauris is still struggling. The Diet Specialist, I think, is going to be maxed out, certainly with something like a King Rail as well coming up. That's going to help out. But yeah, the Backyard Birder is always one of those where it is such a struggle, and I think they might be very, very close on that lower bound. But is it worth playing a real low point bird at this point in the game just to meet that bonus card? I'm not so sure it is.
Yeah, no.
All right, there goes the pink power. I did wonder if we were going to see it. So that is definitely going to sting, I think, for EpicSaxGuy. And I wonder, is that going to be enough to kind of trigger them into playing this quail? Or is it still, at this point, too late to be playing a 0 point bird like that?
Right, yeah. I mean, I guess you're probably only going to get 3 extra maybe activations out of it maximum.
Right.
Yeah, that's not really enough, I think. I mean, I guess you get the extra sort of eggs from that.
Right.
Yeah, 6 points for, I don't know, it's sort of like a 4-point turn, which doesn't feel
it's not great. No. It is a little bit on the low side for this point in the game. But I am going to ask our viewers who they think is going to win this game, and I'm going to ask you as well, Gracklin, who is your favourite at this point in the game?
Well, yeah, I think it feels hard to say anyone other than Lauris at this point. But
yeah, I think so. I think just obviously the pink powers here are gonna do some real work as well. I think this was pointed out in the chat. The scores are a little bit on the low side. I think, again, just as I was saying before, really the slow start for Lauris, waiting on that Raven, was always going to kind of hold the score back a bit. But these huge point bombs in the hand, I think it's definitely going to be a case of get as many of these down as possible. Maybe look for another bonus card from probably the Whooping Crane is the one I'd be looking to play. But yeah, just the pink powers, that's going to really help out as well. And it does feel like, I think Lauris has been quite smart in the end of round goals as well, and really sort of targeted the ones where he can win pretty easily. And it might even be a case of actually he's won all of them so far. And yeah, that is always a kind of tricky place to fight back from.
Definitely. It does seem like for
EpicSaxGuy,
there's some chance if he gains food again, he might be able to get one extra sort of slot out of that.
True.
True. If he plays the Cassin's Finch as well as the Puffin, but
yes, and I was going to ask about this Finch. Obviously, that was kind of the choice he went for, and then grabbed the Woodcock as well. So definitely options. I think you could look to play the Finch, go for food, and just you're taking a huge gamble. You're hoping you can get those couple of fish. I think 2 fish would be enough to do it, and then you force down with the third. But we said earlier about this kind of position where you've got to gamble, and kind of again, even just by playing the Cassin's Finch, you're kind of gambling and hoping for a nice bonus card and seeing what you can get. And I do feel like this is, if any position is where you're going to gamble, it has to be this one where you're really up against it.
Agreed.
And yeah, would not surprise me if this is a little bit of a thinking and calculating serve from EpicSaxGuy. I would be doing exactly the same in this position, umming and ahhing, especially when you've got something like the Woodcock as well, and you're thinking to yourself, okay, could I play that? Am I going to get more from the bonus cards? Is that 9 points enough, or do I still need to set that gamble? I think he's going to need to think a little bit about this end of round as well. Food and personal supply.
Right.
I find it such a tricky one. Yeah, you have to keep that extra food just to qualify for it. And obviously, keeping food at the end of the game is not everything you want to be actively trying to do. And so, ordinarily you try and spend all of your food either on birds or just by discarding to get those extra eggs. And so, you're sort of forcing yourself in this position of being inefficient just to try and score points at the end of round goal. And that can be such a struggle to deal with.
Yeah. I guess there is a scenario where he gets 3 fish, gets an extra seed for the blue jay, and everything's all nicely wrapped.
When you're gambling on re-rolling 3 fish, that is quite the long odds, I think. But here we go. Cassis fish goes down. Ooh, not well. I think the luck was going to run out eventually. It could be worse, but when you've pulled ethologist and ecologist, I think breeding manager was going to come up eventually. So it's a shame, but I'm imagining if he's going to try and hit this zoologist. I'm sure it's going to be one more turn laying eggs, so he can perhaps lay one on the Tauhi and maybe be okay there.
Sure.
But I think Lauris's end game certainly feels a lot more straightforward. You just keep laying eggs, you keep getting the food you want, and looking to play these birds. So I kind of imagine it's going to be. Well, I was going to say it's going to be heron into whooping crane, but I almost feel like maybe he's going to look to play the bold eagle just as a way of maybe getting some extra food for the end of round goal. And is 3 extra points on the whooping crane, and again you kind of got to ask yourself, am I going to score more than 3 points from a bonus card that I play? There's not a huge number of good bonus cards there, I think, that could work for Lauris. But here we go, going for the gamble. You get 1 fish. I don't think that's going to be enough, which I think is perhaps why EpicSaxGuy is kind of just pausing and thinking there. And perhaps plan B was to play the woodcock, and I don't even think necessarily there is. Oh, actually, if they discard, I think they have enough to force it. I think
actually, if they skip the blue jay and get 2 worms, well, I guess you won't have enough. Yeah, you won't have enough.
I think he'd have to discard a card, get 3 food, including the worm, but not the worm/seed, and then grab that seed with the blue jay. That's enough to force it down, and then you have that final turn laying eggs. You're going to getting the seed from the Tauhi. Exactly, and you're gonna hit the ologist, and like you say, you're gonna have that extra food from the Tauhi to qualify. So. Sorry, Puffin. I think you have to go here. It would have been nice. That sort of dream situation of getting 3 fish on the reroll would have been nice, but that's not going to be, I think, there for the Puffin.
It's a decent consolation prize. It's satisfying the ologist simultaneously with the breeding manager might. I don't think he's going to get another breeding manager slot. I think he'll be able to preserve the robin.
Yeah, I think you're right. But I think you take that 1 point. I don't think it's possible to squeeze an extra one out of there. But it is a nice backup at least. I think having that woodcock, it was smart to pick that up when it came up, and then you get that down. It's a nice turn in its own right. You get plenty of points there, and then one final turn laying eggs and scoring points.
I bet Lauris is going to get.
There we go.
Funny if Lauris got the 3 fish.
I think that might have been EpicSaxGuy's computer out of the window. I think if that was the case, so that might not have gone down well. But that's just such a strong play at the end there. That double play into the bold eagle and getting the extra fish as well for good measure. So helped with that diet specialist. I think that's been maxed out now pretty safely. And I think it is going to be, there we go, clean sweep on the end of round goals for Lauris. So lots of end of round goals points for Lauris, lots of bonus card points for EpicSaxGuy. They're probably going to sort of even themselves out a little bit there, but I just think with the huge number of bird cards and obviously bird points that Lauris has got down, and plenty of eggs as well, it's going to be difficult for EpicSaxGuy to fight back against that. Yeah, there we go. Woodcock has gone down, and then I think it's just going to be that last turn laying eggs. So it is going to be Eologist, and I think just one short on the Tauhi, which is a shame. But there you go. That's the breeding manager risk. So it's always difficult to get more than one when you do pick it up at this point in the game, I think. But yeah, last turn, laying eggs for Lauris, and I think they will discard, obviously, just to really secure and make sure they can win the end of round.
Yeah. A beautifully played match, I think, from both players. I can't really, I feel like this was very close to, very, very much determined by the luck of the draw here.
I think like you say, there was definitely some sort of key decision points, I think, for both players in terms of, obviously, for Lauris, do they go for the goose or not? They decided pretty early to get rid of that. EpicSaxGuy really early on, do I go for this flycatcher or not? And they steered away from that. So that can always kind of give you more options and kind of different paths to go down. But I do feel like both players have kind of really maxed out what they could from the positions they've had.
Right. Definitely.
And here we go into the final scores. So the poll is overwhelmingly in support of Lauris. I think both you and I are in agreement that it does seem like Lauris is going to take it. So EpicSaxGuy holding on to a bit of a lead there with the bonus cards, but always those 22 points of end of round goals. So huge there for Lauris, and obviously plenty of eggs, quite a few tuck cards at the end, and it is a win in the end. So 98 points to 84. Pretty convincing margin in the end, but it's difficult, I think, when you do have that Raven that you're coming up against. It's always a tricky one. So Lauris, very good. I can see he's already getting the screenshot in. No messing about to get that in the submission. So we like to see that. But there we go. We will look to get both the players back in. If I can switch back over to Discord properly, and hopefully. Let's get them off. Defen, very quickly. And I think we will come over to Lauris first. So first of all, obviously, congratulations, Lauris. So you have helped give your team the upper hand in this final. How does it feel to get that win in support of your team?
It's a very nice feeling, of course.
Good.
But this one was kind of unfair. Although he got a Storky, so...
Yeah, we did wonder with the Stalk and obviously already having the Robin and the Tauhi, there was going to be every chance of maybe a bit of a comeback. But I think just the end of round goals for me, that was huge from your perspective, winning all 4 of the end of round goals. And you didn't really seem like you went too much out of your way to do that. It's always such a difficult position to fight back from.
One question. Sorry to interrupt. But this is a team match, so I'm imagining that both of you guys had your teammates behind you. How was it interacting with them through some of these decision points? Any interesting moments there?
Well, we didn't interact with them.
Oh,
not in this one. We had to keep the team members out for one game at least. So obviously there has been some good cooperation and good sort of team building and sort of going through some of the decisions, I think, in the other games, which has been a good aspect of this tournament. But definitely we did have some team members in the chat that I have seen who have been fully in support of both players. So that's been very good to see indeed. So I think I will just quickly come over to EpicSaxGuy. So obviously commiserations on the loss, but your team is not out of it yet. There is still something to fight for. So I'm sure you'll kind of get some solace in that you're still fighting.
Yeah. And in the game I was really hoping for, in the last roll I was hoping for 2 fish so I could play the puffin, and I could have gotten like a lot more points, but I really had to get 2 fish.
Yeah, we did.
Wanted to lay eggs on all the birds, so it's really hard to figure out.
Yeah, we did see obviously some difficult decisions there. Going for the food, trying to get the fish. You got 1, but not quite enough. So was sad to see the puffin get discarded. But you're kind of always gambling, I think, a little bit there on the bird feeder.
Yeah, I knew I was so far behind, so I had to get double fish to have a chance.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think there's a time and a place for gambling, and that definitely was it to try and get the points there. So, all right. Well, thank you both players. That was a good match to watch, and hopefully, like I say, there's still a few matches to go in this final. So best of luck to you and your teammates in those remaining games that you have got. And yeah, thank you as well, Grackle and Oakbrand, for joining me. Hopefully you enjoyed watching that one.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Good game. And thank you as well to all the viewers. So yeah, thank you for joining us, and do stay tuned. We'll try and get some more live streams on for you very soon.